Hello, everyone. Today we're going to be going over the HMH curriculum. It's a K to 12 adaptive learning curriculum provided by Huffington Mifflin Harcourt. Me personally, I just call it HMH for short. It's a lot easier that way. So this is a curriculum that we use for literacy inside my professional setting. I'm a first grade teacher. And we use this curriculum because it's grounded in research-based evidence, which aligns to the national standards, which are the Common Core state standards that we use here in the state of Connecticut. And this curriculum provides like a lot of resources for students, ranging from like small group instruction to English language support, differentiation, and it also provides 21st century digital learning tools, which engages students more actively with the coursework. So HMH is really grounded in the science of reading. And if you don't know what the science of reading is, it's basically these five components to help students become literate and really efficient readers. M- So the curriculum really focuses on like phonemic awareness, phonics, vocabulary, fluency, comprehension to really build those foundational skills. Now, the learning theory that HMH currently is based off of is a constructivist learning theory, um, which basically promotes meaningful learning through like engagement and differentiation. It really focuses on student learning, students talking to one another, students building off ideas one another, project-based type of work, and giving really students the opportunity to interact not only with their peers, but with the text that they read, with the vocabulary that they interact with, um, real world problems, problem solving skills. It makes them really build on those critical thinking skills that are so important for students nowadays. It also provides like opportunities for discussion and more of a inquiry-based type of questions as well. Here I provided just a quick example lesson of what HMH is, and I'll just give a quick overview of this. It provides, learning objectives for, you know, students. Oh, by the way, this is a scripted curriculum, so everything's pretty much laid out for you. So, as a teacher, what you really have to do is use your good teaching strategies that you learned over the course of the years and really implement them to bring that lesson to life. So over here we have a very simple lesson plan. It basically follows the gradual release model. If you don't know what that is, it's the I do, we do, you do method, where it explicitly teaches students a skill. We model, as teachers, we model the skill. Then as a class, we try the skill together. And then students will then demonstrate the skill independently. Now, what's really cool about this curriculum, it uses lots of support. It has lots of support embedded in it. They have support for L students. They provide a lot of sentence frames, lots of building blocks for background knowledge. It provides support for differentiation so students can use different methods of showing their work to show their thinking, their process. Sometimes they have them write things, draw things, um, that sort of stuff. Um, we also have lots of group discussions embedded inside these lessons as well. So you see a lot of turn and talks, a lot of think alouds, things of that nature. Here's just another quick example of one of the lessons that HMH uses as well. HMH uses a lot of technology to really foster like student-centered learning through inquiry-based and hands-on activities. So a lot of times in each lesson, there is a component where students engage in, I guess you could say word work, where, they can match words together, sort them, things of that nature, fill in the blanks. Um, you know, Here's an example like vocabulary that they use in meaningful ways to explore its meaning, not just teachers verbally telling what it means. They kind of struggle with the word a little bit and try to figure out how it's used in context. And this really aligns to like how Paget's view of how learners learn through active exploration rather than passive memorization, rather than the teacher always dictating that to them. This is what this word means, this is what that word means. They kind of use it within context, which builds a stronger meaning and stronger learning memory retention as well. So the instructional model used inside this program, or this curriculum, sorry, is the spiral curriculum. So HMH uses Jerome's Bruner's spiral curriculum, which closely relates to, a constructivist learning theory. The curriculum implements, elements of the gradual release that I explained before of responsibility, where students eventually take ownership of their learning. Teacher models something, they do it together as a class, and then eventually the students will take ownership of their learning and display what they've learned. So lessons usually begin, you know, teacher usually modeling a skill, then it is more of a collaborative learning test that we usually do together. And then students will show like independent work, whether it be like short responses, exit tickets, things like that, quick formative assessments. Um, Also, within the Spiral curriculum, students learn topics through short bursts. It's never thrown at them all together. And this is intentional because students generally learn better when they are introduced to something over and over and over through periods of time. That's how they retain information a little bit much longer. And using the spiral curriculum, it also builds on each other. So first, maybe for example, topic and central idea. They may see it in lesson one, and then later on, maybe in lessons five or six, they'll come back to that same topic, except there's a level of complexity to it that's a little bit harder than previous, but it builds off of that. Some instructional strategies that we can use in this type of curriculum is the think aloud method, which basically uses the cognitive approach known as metacognition, which really evaluates students' ability to think about thinking. This is where teachers model the thought process aloud, where when they read a text, and really the purpose of this instructional strategy is to help students internalize how, expert thinkers think, and how to approach a problem, and actively process, information. Students generally become more motivated when they understand that they can be successful if they apply what they know versus guessing. Students who generally guess tend not to do well, whereas if they can apply strategies that they previously learned to a text, they'll be able to not only enjoy reading more, but they'll be also more engaged in the learning process as well. And this really lends itself, well, metacognition really lends itself to more interdisciplinary skills that can be used across multiple subjects, such as like science or math, where students really have to focus on planning, problem solving, and providing reasons to problems. Another instructional strategy that you can use is the think, pair, share method, which is another effective instructional strategy within the Spiral curriculum. It gives students the opportunity to collaborate, to solve a problem, or answer a question about a topic. Then they share ideas with one another to help build and maintain engagement, as well as building off each other's knowledge. Now, think, pair, share is also another good instructional strategy as it provides oral communication and helps support collaboration with one another to complete a common goal. And that's something you do across the board on any subject. Now, one technology platform that we can use inside of a classroom is something that I typically use in my classroom. It's called Kahoot, which is an application that integrates, a curriculum to that couldn't be integrated into a curriculum to enhance learning and student engagement. Who basically allows like us as educators to create like little mini quizzes, discussions, things of that nature into interactive activities like game shows and things of that nature, and it can be used as a formative assessment. Students really enjoy gamification, and that's something that we can really tap into with the technology that we have in today. It really promotes that active participation. And what's really cool about Kahoot is it's also data driven as well. It informs us educators of, okay, these are the type of questions that students are getting wrong. These are the type of concepts that we probably need to go over a little bit more, and things of that nature. Another technology platform that we could use outside of a classroom is something that HMH already incorporates. Um, One thing about this curriculum is that it already has a lot of implemented applications that students can use in and outside the classroom. For example, they have a sound articulation application where students um, can be assigned specific sound spelling cards to practice at home or even inside the classroom. It has both like visual and audio representation to accommodate students. They also have a library called the Big Read Library, which provides ebooks for students to be able to read at home. So it kind of covers that deficit of, families that don't typically have books in their house or may cannot afford one or whatever the case may be. There's still access to it as well. And usually when they do these type of readings, they have like little mini quizzes at the end to really, reinforce comprehension, and different reading strategies that they previously learned. So the one thing I will say is, this is my second year using it, and it definitely shows results among students. You know, Using HMH has, at least from my point of view as a second year first grade teacher, I would like to say, students really engage in it as long as you take the time to plan for it. And that can be said for any curriculum for that.